Hey, Big Brother fans. Well, we've got an update on Angela and Brooklyn's antics on the live feeds over the past 24 hours or so. Brooklyn went from crying to rage cooking, while Angela went from crying vertically to crying horizontally on the floor again, and then swapping tears of frustration with tears of joy. Let's dig into the roller coaster ride of emotional nonsense from these two on the live feeds late Friday and early Saturday. Speaking of tears, apparently right before the wall comp, Angela was crying about it, but then she finally dried up, got up there, and then of course was the first to fall. Don't know if we'll see those scenes on the edited show. And T-Kor has been crying kind of off and on all the time about her guilt over flipping the vote. But it was post-nomination that the real tear fest began on Friday. If you don't keep up with the feeds, they play the HOH comp Thursday, and then Friday they do nomination ceremony. Of course, you don't see that until Sunday's episode. So Brooklyn got the boo-hoo ball rolling when she was bawling over being nominated by Tucker. That should make Sunday's episode, since production called her into the DR while she was still crying, tears everywhere on Friday. I'm sure they wanted to get them fresh and in volume. And then later on Friday night, Angela ran up to cry all over Tucker. So she's upset about her alliance. You know, the one she laid on the floor and eavesdropped on and then ran to beg to join. That was when Tucker, Kimo, T-Kor, and Rubina, maybe one more, were kind of like deer in the headlights when Angela was begging them to let her in, even if she was on the bottom. That's just the kind of the context. Before they let her into the alliance, now named 6th Avenue, Angela had no alliance. So Friday, she marched up to Tucker's HOH room to rant, saying, "I walk into rooms, I'm effing ignored. Kimo and T-Kor don't effing like me. I feel it, Tucker. I'm sorry. I walk in a room and they just immediately shut down. They're quiet. They don't want to talk in front of me." Her whole premise is she thinks that the alliance is fake, which is what she thought when she blew up her first alliance in week 1. The only thing she seems to have learned is to talk about it privately with someone instead of shrieking it from the stairs while making wild faces, along with her accusations. Tucker is being so nice to her when she's bawling. He's hugging, he's comforting her. He's like, "Don't worry, they're going to have your back." And this was all with tears and drama from Angela. And again, Tucker is so patient with her and like all the women that he's working with, honestly. So later, Angela goes down to the living room and kind of flings herself onto the floor. At least this time she's face up instead of face down, eavesdropping. And live feed viewers were wondering why she was crying. It's like a kid who throws a tantrum right in front of you for attention. You know, she could have cried anywhere, but right in the middle of the living room. And apparently there was just a whole lot she was dealing with despite Tucker winning HOH, keeping her totally safe. Her second week of back-to-back safety, by the way. And apparently the have-not beds are wreaking havoc on Angela's back. I totally get that. And she was very upset about being a have-not on her birthday. And last, but by no means least, Angela was upset about having to sleep in her bra for whatever reason. I feel you there, girl. A bad bra can ruin your day. But tears on the floor? Anyway, hopefully she's not going to cry to Tucker about her bra like everything else. So anyway, as Angela was doing her whiny thing to Tucker and crying on the floor, Brooklyn was taking her tears and turning them into anger as she passive-aggressively made food while Angela threw glares her way. In suburban wife mode, Brooklyn was making this elaborate charcuterie board as an outlet for her outrage. Several other house guests, including Quinn and Mackenzie, were pulling meats and cheeses out of the fridge for her to use and hung out while she did it. It was like a whole thing on Big Brother Twitter, because apparently a lot of people are watching the live feeds with her own charcuterie board and wine on Friday night. So it's kind of funny. And then later, and gosh, I hope this makes it onto the episode, Brooklyn was sitting there at the table glaring like Charles Manson, contemplating murder. It looked like she was grinding pepper onto something. It was ironic because she was salty. So if you remember also, Angela's birthday basket came like a week early, and now she's a have-not on her actual birthday, which Quinn and Brooklyn were laughing about on the live feeds. A lot of people thought it was very mean. That's kind of mild for Big Brother meanness. But to make up for her being a have-not, Leah and Mackenzie decorated for her and are going to make her some kind of slop cookie or something. And guess what? The two who were laughing about Angela having a bad birthday, Quinn and Brooklyn, were then mad that they were excluded from decorating for Angela because they think that's going to make them look mean. Which they were actually being. So funny that they're concerned about the optics rather than reality. Just another quick note in Cedric's BB26 exit interview. He spoke about Tucker being good at comps but bad at the rest of Big Brother. I was low-key kind of feeling that way too, but over the last couple of days, I'm seeing Tucker playing in a way that has actually impressed me, not like your typical dude bro guy that comes in and just hangs out with other dude bros. He offered Quinn a deal to stay, and he's gaslit Brooklyn and Mackenzie into believing he'd renom Kimo, and if Quinn had kept his mouth shut, Brooklyn would have gone all the way to live eviction night thinking she was a pawn. To be fair, Brooklyn kind of also gaslit herself into thinking Joseph would actually save her if he won the POV. Tucker is managing his Rubina showman's expectations. He is wiping away Angela's tears and talking her down before she spins out of control. He's got Mackenzie and some others thinking that he will target Angela. He has a lot of these females thinking that he is their ally when he's not. Some of them he's outright targeting. Like, he's got Brooklyn snowed too. He is managing all of these personalities, big, angry personalities. So I just have to say, I feel like Tucker has totally stepped up his social game. That's just in my humble opinion. If he can do that while remaining a comp beast, he may go all the way, especially if they keep that damn AI arena around so there's no chance to blindside him. It's either that or like a double eviction, but even a double eviction would be harder if the arena is still in play. And finally, and this is funny as heck, if you don't go on and check out the hashtag BB26 and hashtag BBLF, which is for the live feeds, hashtags on Twitter, you definitely should head over to X and search this. Hashtag BB26 he, Heee, because that is Brooklyn's new nickname among Big Brother fans that are trolling her. This all started from a comment from Cam and his one act of standout hilarity this season. Barely playing Cam said that Brooklyn looks like a bleached Michael Jackson. And then Twitter and Instagram like exploded, mostly Twitter. The jokes and memes were writing themselves about her wanting a Moonlight POV comp, calling her Brooklyn Jackson, how she's got to get in the veto comp and just beat it. It's just kind of endlessly funny. And so many fans actually expect this is going to still be trending when she leaves the house, and they've discussed whether she'll be mad that someone in her Pentagon alliance started it, aka Cam. And if you feel bad that the fandom is mocking Brooklyn, here's a recent comment she made to Chelsea and the storage room on the feeds. I'm sure this will not make it onto a CBS edited episode, but I just want you guys to think, okay, it's not just that she's getting picked on, there's some more to it. So Brooklyn said to Chelsea, anytime I start feeling a little sad, I just think of Joseph's ugly face and it makes me mad. Wow. Now see, that's mean. So maybe they should evict her this week. So Brooklyn will have to beat it unless she can show them how funky and strong is her fight. She might be leaving this Thursday night. Hey, come back for more live feed scoop and Big Brother updates, news, and nonsense right here.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.